All right, so what's good, you guys? Different type of content today. We'll be doing a interview with another one of Tim Sykes' students, and pretty spectacular what he did this year. So he's been in the program, well, on Profitly since 2019, and then pretty much had a breakout year. First 3 months of the year, over 100K verified profits, which is pretty amazing. It's a good example of what happens when preparation meets opportunity in the market. So let's just start off with how you got into trading.
Yeah, I got into trading about 2 years ago now. Um, I'd never been interested in trading. It was one of the things that obviously I knew of trading, but I had no interest in it whatsoever. Um, and then I was in Thailand actually, and I'm always open to like new opportunities and stuff. I was in Thailand and I was just lying in bed, and this video popped up on YouTube of like penny stocks, and I found Tim Sykes through that. And yeah, so this is like 2 years ago, May 2019. Found Tim Sykes, and I just never doubted it. And I kind of just watched one video of his, and then just started rolling with it. Um, and yeah, like I say, at the time, I was kind of open to new opportunities, and it just found me at the right time. I know, like a lot of people, sort of when they discover this particular niche, they're quite skeptical. They have to kind of go through a process of opening their mind to the opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of never had that. I just knew it was real, so I just rolled with it.
So before you got in, like you had like no idea of trading at all, and you just kind of saw Tim Sykes ad, or were you like, did you start looking into like trading before the Tim Sykes ad came?
No, I knew nothing about trading. Well, my dad does trade, um, but to be honest, this kind of put me off trading
Yeah.
because his style of trade. Well, I've seen a lot of fluctuations over the year
Yeah.
in terms of wins and losses. That's one aspect of it, but also my dad does do well out of it as well. Um, but I think the main thing was kind of his style of trading is more related to fundamentals, and I have very little interest in like following the news or researching a company. And I thought that all trading sort of followed that blueprint. So yeah, I knew of trading, but it just wasn't of any interest to me. And then when I found Tim Sykes, it was just straight into technicals, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. I can work with that. So yeah.
Yeah, so from what you're saying, it sounds like he was more like those old school like Warren Buffett style buy and hold investing versus like what we do, which is in and out every day. Or was he actually doing swings as well?
It does swing, but he is. I guess he would describe himself as a day trader. He didn't do any long term swings, long term investing. He's definitely a trader, but it's more, definitely more. I'm not sure my dad's ever looked at a chart, to be honest with you. Um, and yeah, the idea of researching, he watches a lot of Bloomberg and stuff like that. That to me, just like I got no interest in that at all. So I thought, like I say, I thought all trading, that's what it was. But yeah, couldn't be further from the truth.
So you're purely technical analysis, or do you like pay attention to sector news or anything like that?
Yeah, well, I guess the important thing for me to mention from the start is that I still would describe myself as a newbie. I think I'm up about, I don't know, 120-ish thousand now US, but I'm still a newbie, and so I'm starting to I need to improve my all aspects of my trading, but I would especially like to start to understand just a little bit more to do with fundamentals. I do go through some of the filings, on some of the 8Ks or whatever, but I can see that my fundamental analysis, my understanding of sympathy plays, sector movement, is the weaker side. So I will start to sort of pick that up. But it's still like so overwhelming to me because I've never really delved into that world.
For sure, for sure. So, when you got into Tim Sykes, did you just jump straight into the Millionaire Challenge, or were you like just was there any other like products you were like going into, or it was just head first into the challenge?
Well, I'm not yet in the challenge.
Oh, so what are you in right now?
Penny stock in silver.
Still penny stock and silver.
Fiber.
Okay.
And to be honest, I even though I'm already making good money, I still will join the challenge because I can see the value there. I can see the value because penny stock and silver is amazing. Like you get to see there's so many different. I think it's amazing value for money I wouldn't have made.
The fact that you made it this far, like it just goes to show how much information is in penny stock and silver. The fact I'm not sure. I think Gratani had started with penny stock and silver as well, and a couple other students who I've seen interviewed in the past too.
Yeah, but I definitely I should do it now. I've got the money really. I don't know what's holding me back. There has been times when I've just been like, I need to see this live. I need to see this live. To see it live would just, send my game to another level.
Yeah.
So obviously that's what you get. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll join next week. I don't know.
Yeah. So when you were part of penny stock and silver, because I'm not fully familiar because I've been in the challenge pretty much up to a year now. So with this penny stock and silver, are you seeing the challenge chat every day and seeing what people are posting, or are you just watching video lessons?
Watching video lessons, but we get there's a separate chat room, so you'll be in the premium chat room. I think probably the content of that chat room is probably higher than what I've got.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I'm asking is just so for people who are watching, because I always get people who are watching and listening who have no idea, like they just started trading, so it'd be good for them to kind of know like what they're getting into if they're considering getting into penny stock and silver.
Okay, cool. So in penny stock and silver, you get a chat room. Every other day, you get a video lesson, sometimes daily, and you get a watch list. You get those things. So from what I understand, obviously in the challenge, you will get all of that, but you'll get live trading, and you'll get all of the DVDs, and you'll get like a chat room with the millionaire students in there.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's awesome just to see like that you had success, because it goes to show that you don't need to necessarily, if you're not in a financial situation where you could pay for the Tim challenge, there's other ways you could succeed as long as you put your head into it and you really sit down and study the content. So I noticed that your profit curve was during the first 2 years you weren't very active, so I'm guessing you were studying, or were you still trading a lot during that period before you really had that massive run?
So the first, I think there's no trades sort of recorded for the first, I don't know, maybe like 6 months of my account.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you're referring to. But during that time, I just wasn't recording my trades. So what I did is I went back and I just put in one trade for that whole time, and I was down about $750. So I was trading. But like I said, I wasn't recording my trades. During that time, I was studying as well. I still study now, but yeah, I was studying quite continuously. And that,
yeah, one thing I really respect is that like you have great risk management. Like there's a lot of guys who like, including myself, like we dig ourselves into massive holes and then we have to climb out. You kept your losses or like whatever you were losing during that period to a minimum. So it's like you didn't have to fight a hole to dig out of. It was just a little bit you had to make back, and then you were pretty much in the green from the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. Cheers, man. I was speaking to my friend about this yesterday. He's just getting into it, and like he's kind of like maybe a little bit excitable with his like position sizing. And I was saying to him, like, probably the thing I'm most proud about in trading, and like I'm still a newbie, still got a long way to go, still need to join the challenge. But so far, probably the thing that I'm most proud about is after a year and a half of trading, I was only down $1,000. And I do speak to some people outside of the industry who were like, well, "You didn't make anything for a year and a half." And I was like, "Yeah, but that's the price of my education." And a lot of people over that time period will come out and they'll be like, "Well, I'm 50 grand down." It's like, well, to me, I knew from the start I'm not. It's unlikely that I'm going to make money at the beginning. It's just about keeping my losses as small as they can possibly be.
Yeah.
And when I see a certain level of consistency and a certain percent in my winning trades, then just scale up slowly.
Yeah. Um so what did you find like helped you the most during that period to kind of maintain that level of discipline to stop you from just throwing money at trades or having that desperation where you just really want to make that money now?
So what was it that held me back from doing that?
Yeah, like what kept you disciplined? Because I think the hardest things for a lot of newbies is really the discipline and just like being able to survive those first few years without just kind of throwing throwing all your savings away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never really thought about it. I just wasn't tempted. Yeah, I was so kind of like almost like afraid of the market. Like
Yeah.
I had like a healthy fear of it. I
No,
could,
that's definitely a good thing.
yeah, yeah. Like I don't know. I just watched enough video lessons to understand that one, I didn't really know what I was doing, and two, um, just these stocks that we're trading, these small cap stocks. I trade, OTCs and small cap Nasdaq predominantly. They're just sketchy, and they're just so volatile that it's just for me, it just wasn't worth the risk because I wasn't tempted.
Yeah. So with your trading, what I know is that sometimes like you'll have traders that kind of join the program and they'll start to apply Tim's strategy, and then eventually they might kind of they'll take the strategy but apply it somewhere else. Like for example, Mark Crook went and started doing options, started doing larger cap, and then some people might take his older videos back when he was shorting and start shorting. But one thing I noticed about you is that you've stuck to the fundamentals of Tim's strategy, which is sticking with penny stocks and sticking with just the stuff that Tim really drills into your head in like all his video lessons.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it just primarily a couple of strategies that you stuck with from the beginning, and all you focus on are those like one or two strategies?
Yeah, I think I started with breakouts, like OTC breakouts. I didn't have much success with them, but I think that now when I am, starting to re-educate myself on that setup, they'll probably come a bit easier to me. But I gravitated away from OTC breakouts and started playing OTC panics, and that's where I really started to find consistency. And the reason why I'm more suited to panic dip buying as opposed to breakouts is because with panic dip buys, I'm either instantly right or I cut. Whereas breakouts, you got to give it a bit of play, and they always get shaken out. and I seem to get shaken out even when I play like small size. So there's something there in me. I'm a bit uncomfortable being down. Um, so yeah, I went more into like panic dip buys, like the number 5 from the framework. But I'm also comfortable number 4 shorting, shorting the big cliff dive really. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of the framework, I always tell people like if there's one thing that you could take away from the program is the framework. The framework is like the most important thing that like everyone talks about because it's like it's a there's certain patterns there that have been here for over a decade and they'll probably keep being there. Like I don't see that framework ever changing.
Yeah, for sure. I said the same thing to my friend. I've said it to so many people because a few people around me that are close to me kind of are seeing what I'm doing, and they're sort of like, so where do I learn? How do I start? It's like, yeah, 30-day boot camp, 30-day boot camp. But when they ask me, what should I look at first? Yeah, it is individual, but in my opinion, just learn the framework.
Yeah, and so when you started your big run, like what was your mindset going in? Because it was just kind of like just looking at your profit chart, it was just so sudden, so parabolic. Like, was it just did you just know what type of market we were in, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna capitalize on it, or
Yeah, like that was a crazy few months. um, no regrets. Like I don't regret it. If it happened again, I'd probably make 1 million because I've experienced it now. That was the first time I was seeing it. Um, but obviously, the market's heated up like May 2020 with the world events and stuff like that. But at this time, there was a lot of plays there. But I was still about a year into trading, hadn't really been exposed to that much, so I couldn't really tell a hot market when it first came in. I think it was May 2020. So I was just a bit overwhelmed, still trading really small size, a little bit of FOMO because you hear people saying the market's hot, the market's hot.
yeah,
I was like, I don't know if it's hot or not. Should I be going more aggressive? I had all these thoughts going through my head. Still kept it small because I know I'm not seeing consistency yet. And then December, slowly, it started to make a bit more sense. And then December 2020, the market the OTC market, it went super hot. And this sped up my learning. I'm sure I got like 3 years worth of learning in 3 months because it was just play after play after play after play. And your mind just naturally just starts recognizing patterns. So I just got it. And in December, I think I made like 9K. That was like my biggest month. And December was a hot market. And I remember saying to somebody, I need to size up. And I could see the look on the face. They were like, and I was like, now's the time. Now is the time. So I started to size in a bit. And then I think January I must have made, I don't know, 30 something. And February I made almost 50. And then March I made a bit as well. But like during that time, I couldn't sleep. I don't think I couldn't sleep. It was just like sometimes you wait days for your right setup, but these OTC panics, there was like 10 panics a day. So you couldn't help. You had to, if you were watching it, you were going to learn. So yeah, amazing question because it takes me back to experiencing that time. So yeah, that's what I went through.
yeah, that was the craziest thing like I've ever seen. Like, who knows when we'll get it again? Like, we were really spoiled during that period. Like, it it's like it's one of those situations where it's like we're gonna look back on it and be like Holy shit. Like the way that people look back on the early 2000s, like when the whole internet bubble happened, like it's kind of like similar in many ways.
I wasn't there for that, but I imagine it was the same, if not.
Yeah, I wasn't either, but based on what people say about it, this kind of the hype levels kind of sound similar. At least for OTCs, like I haven't really heard about OTCs being this poppin' since like back when Gritani was back when they had the promotions back in like
Yeah,
maybe 2012, 2013.
yeah. What a ride that was.
So I was curious, what was your starting capital like before you had your first big month?
Yeah, so I started with like about $1,000, something like that. Maybe 1,300. I think 1,300, somewhere around there. And that was in a. Do you remember Shore Trader?
Yeah, short trade, yeah.
Yeah. I think like they were well sketchy. But to get around the PDT rule, so I was with Shore Trader. You couldn't even trade OTCs with them. So I was just like, I won't trade OTCs then. So it was just so green. Yeah, like I say, over a period of time, gradually bled that down, and then decided to open a E-Trade account
Yeah.
and an interactive brokers account. So still under PDT. I think I put like 1,000 in my interactive brokers and about 3,000 in my E-Trade.
In the UK, they have the PDT rule there, or
Yeah, because you trade in US, you with US brokers.
okay, because in Canada with IB we actually don't have the to follow PDT.
Ah,
So with IB, I think there's just certain requirements that you have to have in your account to be able to short sell and be able to use margin. But that's pretty much it. But like if you're
yeah.
using like a broker in the States, some of them don't even let you open an account if you're in Canada. And then the ones that do usually still have like a minimum of like sometimes 10, 15 or 20K.
Yeah. It seems like you have to figure this all out for yourself because all the teaching is through US. So figuring out what's specific to your country
Yeah.
is a task in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a grand in my interactive and the 3 grand in my E-Trade. I closed my interactive brokers account. I didn't really resonate with that with their brokerage and opened a Trade Zero account because I needed some way of trading. More than during the hype, more than 3 times in a week. So I opened a Trade Zero account with about $1,000 and an E-Trade with 3,000. So I had about 4,000.
Yeah.
And when I started to see consistency, I actually sold. I've got a house. I actually sold a house. It was always my plan. It happened sooner than I thought. I sold the house, put the money into my E-Trade account, and then I was over PDT. So yeah, then I started playing a bit bigger size. Slowly, nothing crazy.
Okay. And one thing that I think would be important as well is when you had started before December, what was your position size like versus when you were being really aggressive during the whole December to February market craze?
Position size prior to that was like, I don't want to say a figure that's inaccurate, but yeah, maybe 1,000, 2,000, maybe. Probably wouldn't have been more than that.
So out of a 25K account, a couple grand each time.
Before December, yeah, you're talking. Before December, I didn't have 25K in my account. And we had, like
You were still doing the 1,000 in like each account.
yeah, 3,000 in me trade account. So I might go in like 1,000 or
Oh, so you pretty much kind of had to go full size at that point.
yeah, ish. It's hard to like remember like was exactly what was in my account really, but yeah, I was sort of. It is full size, but I know that I've got money outside of my account.
Yeah. And then when you knew like this is crazy, like there's so much setups every day, like how aggressive were you being?
So still cautious. Like December, I made, like I say, I think in December I kind of put that money into my account. Then I sized up a bit, and I was going in like maybe 6K in December, 5, 6K, something like that. It even started with 4, like went from like 1, 2 to 4 to 6. And then in start of January, I started going in like 15, and I was uncomfortable going higher than that. There might have been the odd trade that I went in 20, but yeah, about 15. Less than that a lot of the time, between 8 and 15.
And
Yeah.
following up that, what would you recommend to people who are watching, who are new traders, and what they should do when sizing up, or how to approach sizing up?
So I'm still going through that at the moment, sort of understanding how to size up. Do it slowly. I don't think there's anybody who can. No one's really taught me how to manage the motions of sizing up. You kind of have to figure it out as you go along. So for me, it's about still remembering that something can go wrong. I've had trades. I think I've just had a month off trading, and I came back on yesterday because it was a really nice trade on, and I made some really good money. I made about 7K on it. And I sized up a bit for that. And the natural thoughts come, well, if I'd gone this much, I could have doubled that. But you always stand the risk of, something getting halted or being wrong, and, whatever, it going, the trade going against you for whatever reason. So size up, don't go too far too quickly. Make sure it's still within, I don't know, maybe a fifth of your account, or whatever is your max. Just go slowly. Yeah.
And in terms of risk, I know Tim is a big proponent of cut losses quickly, like it's one of his like biggest slogans. And you have some people like Tim Grattani, who's like more like cut losses intelligently based on what the chart is saying to you. So where do you see yourself in that spectrum?
Yeah, I cut so quickly. It's I need to be a bit more chilled, to be honest with you. A bit more chilled with my like I say on breakouts. I put my loss in the chart still intact. I'm like too far the other way, and that's kind of. But it saves me as well sometimes. So the times when I'm like grateful that I do have that mentality. So yeah, I'm definitely on the cut losses quickly side, but for me it'd be beneficial to continue to work on emotional management, and therefore bring in a little bit more of cut losses intelligently. So a little bit more balance would be better for me.
Yeah, definitely it's definitely work, because on your run, like you never had like any type of major pullback that kind of like took away from what you were doing in your profitability based on your chart.
Yeah. Like up to making that 100K, my biggest red day was 1,000. And I only had 2 of those.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really solid risk management. I just want to get your thoughts on the current market environment right now, and what do you think going forward? Because obviously, like things have changed compared to what was going on a couple months ago.
Yeah, so I'm probably not the best person to ask for this one, because I've just taken a month off. So I was a little bit burnt out from those 3-4 months of trading. So I'm a bit out of touch. I just came back into trade. Is it ETCG? That had the big crash this week. But obviously, I've kind of been off all social media, and not been following anything really. But when I do sort of occasionally log in, I do get the sense from people it's a slower market. But in terms of like my own personal experience, I couldn't tell you.
And I really respect that because like a lot of people don't realize like a lot of us get into this game for like the ultimate financial freedom, and then some people just end up getting trapped staying at the computer all day, and they lose sight of that freedom. And you capitalized when it was required, and then you took your foot off the pedal, and then you went and you lived your life like when the market wasn't presenting as opportunities. So like it just kind of goes to show people like what's possible. Like you could go through periods where you're really just hammering it in and capitalizing on opportunities, and then like when the market is dead, like rather than force it, just go and enjoy life and take care of yourself, your mental health, whatever you have going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I love trading. Like, I love it. It's so much fun. It's just so much fun. Um, and I could quite comfortably, stand or sit there all day and just watch the market and, probably overtrade a bit. Um, and I have got aspirations of, making more financial wealth than I've currently got. Of course I have. But there's balance as well, isn't there? You know what I mean? I can't spend my whole life in front of a computer. I want to go and live and travel and do all these things and allow trading to, be the vehicle that allows me to do that.
Yeah, I guess following up that, I'd ask what are your favorite things to do outside of trading that maybe help with your mindset?
I like sort of meditative world, sort of meditation. I'm going more into yoga now. Yeah, all kinds of like self-awareness, personal development, spirituality. Um, if somebody was starting out, for me, I would say that find something that helps you to relax and to detach from the market, because it's, for me anyway, it's overstimulating, and I've never been the best at, right, 4 o'clock, the market's closed, I need to switch off for a bit. I'm thinking about charts all the time. I'm thinking, how am I going to play this tomorrow? So I know that it's beneficial for me to have some kind of daily practice which allows me to de-stress, basically. And those are the tools that I've currently got that allow me to do that.
And
Yeah.
in terms of your preparation for the markets, what's your prep like before the market opens and after the market closes?
It depends on the market environment. So when we went through this bubble that we were in, preparation was key, absolutely key. So I'd be there, before the market opened, at least an hour, and I'd spend an hour after market closed, going through all of the tickers, making a list for the next day, having a plan on all of those. Then I would, make sure I'm up to date with the video lessons from Tim. Then I'd make sure I'm up to date with the video lessons from the guys from Twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their video lessons are gold, absolute gold. For free content, anybody out there who's like, it's probably a bit more advanced, than for beginners, but I'd make sure I'd always have to be up to date with everything. In a quieter market, similar, I suppose, but just a bit more chilled, But yeah, I do sometimes trade Nasdaq, so I kind of do like to look at pre-market action, to see what's going on there, because obviously they move more than OTC's pre-market.
Yep. And how many hours a day were you studying before you got profitable?
It feels like so long ago. I don't know. I was on it. I had the bug. To me, I wouldn't even like to put a figure on it. I would, any spare time I had, I just found it so interesting, and I was just driven by the opportunity. As well as enjoying it, I could see the opportunity, and that drove me. So I couldn't say, but all my spare time, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to wrap up with this question. Looking back at your experience with the it's just going back to what we were talking about earlier about the penny stocking silver. What would you say your overall review of it is now that you've kind of gotten to this point?
I couldn't talk more highly of it. I recommend it to anybody who's willing to put in the work. Personally, I would say that you don't need to start there. I would start with the 30-day boot camp, because that gives you a more well-rounded view of how to trade and what Tim's strategy is. And then after that, you can start thinking about going into penny stock and silver. But out of 10, I'd put it right up there. The only thing I'd say to newbies is that, well, I don't know if I can call people newbies. I'm still a newbie. But if you are just starting and you join penny stock and silver, or probably the challenge, when you're in the chat room, it's easy to assume that other people are experienced, but they're not. So, take everything everybody says with a pinch of salt and develop your own learning and understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, I had. Oh, yeah. So I was gonna say, yeah, to everyone watching, there's a lot of people. It's funny because like on Twitter, you'll still see people who are saying that Tim Sykes is a scam. Some people will say like the profits are fake and all that. It's like you guys, when I wrap this up, like I'm gonna post this Profitly link, and you can go see for yourself and see other successful traders on there as well who have verified trading data, and just what's possible when you really capitalize on a hot market.
Yeah.
So again, I didn't say his name, but his name is Aiden Ramkasoon. Yeah, this is my first interview. He let me know maybe a couple months back that you were interested in doing an interview, so I'm glad I got to get this done.
Well, just something to add is that my profits aren't yet verified on Profitly. I wouldn't like to present myself as something I'm not, but I know what I've done. I think later on, like if I join the challenge and I start giving back more to the community, it's easy for me to verify them just with account statements. But yeah, that's just for full transparency. And if anybody does want to connect, they can get me on Twitter at Tantric Trading.
Okay, and I'll leave his social media links in the description box as well. Again, I appreciate it. It was good talking to you.
I'm really happy to be here, Brandon. Thank you so much for having me on.
And I'll be interested in following your journey. What are your plans going forward for the summer? You're gonna take another break off trading in the summer, or are you gonna just be here and there, just banging, just taking the A+ setups?
I'm going to Thailand. I think I'm probably going to book it tomorrow. I'm probably going to go there for 6 months. I bought a few portable monitors that I can take with me, connect up, because I like multiple screens. But my focus for the time being is it was a crazy ride, man, the last few months. So just settling everything down, and I'll let my body dictate when I can go back to trading. So yeah, I'll probably take the A+ setups, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks again, and have a good one.
Cheers, man. Cool.
Go inside for days, I've been smoking purple haze. I've been hurting real weight, on my shoulders can't take no more, can't fake. Smile, waiting on some friends, but they ain't that great. What I say,